Hello and welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. This is definitely a somber occasion. Um, Sean Hellems was found dead in his dorm room from multiple stab wounds. Sean was the primary admin for Afterlife Topics, and he helped run the Facebook group by keeping an eye on everyone's conversations and just keeping things smooth and upholding the main ideas I had in mind about the community, which is a place to talk about very complex supernatural things while having a lot of integrity, having critical thinking, but while not dismissing what these subjects are all about. So looking at things on the bigger picture. Sean was a devoted Christian, but very interested in many different angles of spirituality and how the objective evidence of the afterlife fits in with religious faith as well. So Sean was a friend of mine as well, and I picked out Sean specifically to moderate the group because he just had the right demeanor, the right attitude that I thought would be really appropriate to help with the management of what is now about almost 9,000 people, and he was very inactive. And I figured because he's a grad student that this has been final exam time, so I hadn't heard from him, and so I really didn't bother him. I didn't want to pressure him with, his non-profit activities on afterlife topics. So I just let things go. I didn't message him, didn't say, "Hey Sean, do you mind picking up some of the slack?" Because I found myself suddenly doing a lot more work with bringing in new members and reviewing things. So I just let it all go. I'm like, I'll contact him when final exams are done. And then a friend of his contacted me and it's like, "Don't you know what happened?" And sure enough, to get back to the main story, he was found deceased from multiple stab wounds in his dorm room in Chicago. Now, the official cause of death was ruled a suicide. So I think that should be made clear. Um, Now I want to bring up Sean's GoFundMe. So at the time of this GoFundMe, there was a effort going on to have a second autopsy and look deeper into this case because, from what I understand, yes, people, it is possible that somebody may commit suicide this way, but it's also kind of strange that somebody would pass away from multiple lacerations like this from in the chest and the neck. So, um, in my opinion, we can't rule out other factors, and so this was the opinion of the family who made this GoFundMe. Um, so I guess I'll read a little bit of this. So my younger brother Sean Lamar Helms was such a talented, compassionate, caring, and intelligent young man. He was due to graduate from Loyola University Chicago this month and would have earned his master's in social work. Tragically, he was found dead in his dorm room Wednesday, the 1st of May, 2019, with multiple stab wounds to the chest and a laceration to the neck. This devastated our family tremendously. Sean positively impacted the lives of many people around him. He was a true believer in Christ and strived to make this world better by spreading the word of God and urging people to turn away from sin and live their best lives. Sean was also active in his community, participating in numerous volunteer and civic activities, and strived for academic success and spiritual fulfillment. His smile warmed my soul. Sean had such a bright mind, generous heart, and promising future ahead of him until someone, many family members believe, cut his life short. An investigation is currently pending. We are asking for the above listed amount of donations to help successfully getting a second opinion on the first autopsy, as well as any funeral, burial, and legal expenses that may arise. We love you, Sean, eternally. Thank you for all your support. Peace and blessings. So since this GoFundMe was put up, there has been an announcement from the family, which is that they will not pursue a second autopsy and they will attempt to take the given explanation for his passing. So the existing funds will go just toward the funeral expenses. So this is it's not. I mean, I read there is a article in the Chicago Tribune, I think, about this incident. Police are not saying foul play was there. The family, I think, wants to put those opinions behind them and just work on healing and moving on. They probably had some access to information, maybe suggesting more that it was a suicide. But still, given the nature of these circumstances, personally, I don't think that other options should be completely ruled out. And so now I want to get to some things I'm doing in regard to my friend Sean. And this involves attempts, given the nature of what we talk about here and afterlife topics, attempts to reach out to Sean. And there has been some, I would say, level of success so far with that, but I don't want to give out any specific details about what allegedly Sean has said concerning his own passing, because I need to corroborate the accounts of different channels of communication with Sean, which includes both mediumistic communication and attempts by myself to astral project to him. And I'd like to be able to corroborate and figure out kind of what's really going on, because I've had a couple of conflicting reports. So without giving away too many details, I will say that from what I believe is legitimate communication with Sean, what was told to me is that, or what he has said to me, presumably or possibly, is that he is really recovering right now and trying to figure out what the hell to do next after the situation happened. I'm not going to say at this time whether that was related to him excuse me, him taking his own life or somebody else taking his life. Again, it's a situation where I need to get all the facts to verify the things that he was saying was really him communicating. And so in this communication, the primary focus that he was saying was that he needs to get his own thoughts in order, because, like I often say on this channel, however it is that we pass away, whether it is from suicide or we get in a fight or something happens to us, it can be very shocking. And there's different levels of this, and he has a lot of assistance, and he's just trying to get himself psychologically pieced back together again, and surprised to find that it didn't just fix itself upon his passing, that there would be issues and things that would need to be worked out for however it was that he did pass. And I'm not saying it was suicide, I'm not saying it was homicide. Like I said, I don't have all those facts or details to be able to give an answer about that. What I don't want is for other mediums who I am working with maybe just like watch this video and then just regurgitate whatever it is I'm saying. So I have to keep specifics less prominent so that this doesn't happen, to avoid hot reading as well as making cold reading less easy if I work with mediums. And I personally will trust my own communication attempts much better, because that's, to me, that can be a direct line of communication when that occurs. But again, I'm also not going to reveal all the methods that I'm using to reach out to Sean. So further information provided is that, as he pieces things back together, I kind of have, told him, let's kind of do a challenge. Let's get you involved in Afterlife Topics community from that side. And he's very into that idea. And he said, basically, dude, you need to get like an EVP app on your phone, and then let's work on that once I'm feeling healthy enough, feeling good enough to, get out again and start adapting to this new environment, this new dimension I'm in. Maybe can start getting in there and popping up on different apps, or trying to figure out some ways to make contact. And he seems to think this might be a fun project to take on, and I basically want him to know that he's still a member of this community, because he decided to join up with Afterlife Topics, which means that now he's going to be dealing with all of us on this level, doing, whether it's experiments or reaching out, or whatever it might be. And that's part of what this community is all about, whether you're on this side or on that side. And so that is something to look forward to. So I personally think that Sean will be around, quite a bit in this community, and I look forward to seeing how that develops. So this one's really for Sean. I think. Even in a crisis like this, there is, a great opportunity to learn, and, I think it's therapeutic for them also. I think, sometimes in a violent death, there can be a lot of regrets and problems, or angers and unresolved issues, but just focusing on being of service to others, my theory is that this will help. And I know they have technology that they can access our technology. So Sean could be watching this video, in which case, hey Sean, I hope you're getting better after what happened, and I will post updates once I get more communication through different channels, and then I can kind of triangulate something that I can say is completely accurate, to be able to say exactly what happened to Sean. I don't want to say anything at this point, because it's too early. And once I do that, then we'll have, in what would be, in my opinion, from the best that we can manage with communication from beyond the veil, a more plausible idea, a more plausible picture of how all of this went down. And then I will post that at some point as an update, if not on this channel, then on the Facebook group. So I guess that's all I can do for this video. Next videos will be back to, normal topics. This is a big loss. Sean was a big chunk of Afterlife Topics. So he was one of the people co-running this entire community. Like, you see my face, I do videos, but behind the scenes, there's this big community that not everybody who watches YouTube necessarily knows about. And then Sean was one of the people on that, if not the main person on that team. So really, Sean Hellems passing away, it's not that different from Cyrus Kirkpatrick passing away. Okay, close to my same age, peer, and also running this community, and then we lose him. So that's a big deal, and there's just so few young people involved in the Afterlife field, and then we lose somebody who is young and interested in these subjects. I've had many people in the afterlife topics pass away, many of them in their 80s, natural deaths. And, we get somebody, my age group, millennial, and then, he dies tragically, way before his time. And, how sad is that? All right, so that's it for this video. I'm gonna get some sleep. It's been a weird day. Um, you know, I've become more sensitive to energies. It's like as I'm getting older, becoming more empathic. So something like this kind of hits me a bit hard. So I've had to readjust myself. But because of the work I do, I have the kind of emotional ability to be able to get through these things very 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 quickly. And so, I'll be back to talking about different topics, I think, tomorrow. I was going to do a video about Game of Thrones, and I'm going to do a video about a couple other philosophical topics. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff coming up um, very shortly, and I'm, going to keep, going on. And Sean, I wish you could have stayed around, but here we are. All right, well, please subscribe if you want to support the channel. That's, I guess, all I have left to say about this, but I'll have more updates soon. And I don't know, if I'm just going on and blabbering, I think maybe I just need to do that. Maybe I just need to vent. Maybe this channel is the best way for me to vent about this, because I don't know. It's just so difficult sometimes. Even with all the work I do and the communications with people who have passed on, it just, we remember about the unpredictability of death, and you can't predict. And this is something another admin in Afterlife Topics, Brian, was saying about Sean's death, is that you can't look at a young person and then predict that they're going to have this long and healthy life. Now that's not the way it works. I mean, you can meet a young, healthy, happy, seemingly happy person, and then they could pass away the next day. Um, I this could be my last video. Tomorrow, I'm in India. I could get hit by a car, or like a really fast tuk-tuk could hit me, and then I'm dead. Next week, this could be my last week. Could be my last month, and more plausibly, it could be my last year. And maybe you're young and healthy and watching this video. This could be your last year, your last month. We don't want to look at those realities, but that's the issue. That is the mortal issue that we're all faced with. And when a young, healthy person suddenly unexpectedly dies, we are reminded of that. There's no escaping out of this. You can't buy your way out. It doesn't matter if you got a promotion at your job. It doesn't matter if you accomplish some material goal. You're not getting out of this, okay? In the words of Jim Morrison, nobody gets out of here alive. And unless you're thinking about your mortality and thinking about the big questions and what comes next, then you're not piecing together the whole picture about your life. What you're doing is you're practicing like deferment. You're compartmentalizing things and ignoring things and shoving things in a shoebox and pushing it under your bed and hoping you don't have to pull that shoebox out. And that's how most people live their lives. But if you want a balanced, well-rounded life, then we got to pull the shoebox out that says death. We got to look at it. We got to figure out exactly what's going on. And fortunately, what we actually learn turns out, like so many things in life, it's never as bad as we think it is. So that's the positive thing about all this, I guess. The negative is that any of us can die any day, and it can happen and it will happen. But the plus side is that we can learn about this subject, since we're forced to exist here as humans. So we're stuck. We got to learn about this, and then we can do it, and there are answers out there, and there's evidence, and there's things that we can wrap our fingers around, and that's what this channel is all about. That's it. I think I'm done venting. I'm gonna go ahead and close this down now. There's a link to this GoFundMe in the description, and Yeah, and I will talk to you guys soon. You can hit me up on Facebook, or can talk there if you want to talk more about this or talk about Sean or anything. We'll be around. So it's Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics on Facebook. Okay, talk to you guys next time.